welcome to another Kerbal Space Program video. Today we are starting on Duna, which is kind of interesting. If you weren't aware, this is actually a part 2 of a 2-part series that I'm doing, where we're just going to be having a look at the kind of colony that I built on Duna, and showing you guys what the system I've got going here is. So if you haven't checked out part 1, where we take an SSTO and dock it to the space station, and then we land on Duna, that's what happened, so be sure to check that out if you are interested. So what we're doing now is we are going to take this bus that has just showed up, and we're going to put Val into the bus and drive her out to the base, which is about 3 kilometers away. I landed far away out of physics range from the base just because it is very, very laggy, and I didn't want to deal with trying to land in like 7 FPS. So that kind of sucked. And full disclosure, I did turn on infinite electricity just because I did a little bit of messing around and drained all the charge of the bus driving out here. It can do the drive. It has about 10 minutes of electric charge, and it's like 3 minutes each way. So full disclosure, did that, but it can do it. So you can see the base just about coming into view now, barely. It's a pretty sizable base. So we'll just drive on out there, and then we will park at the base and transfer Val into the base, and then we're going to refuel all of our landers and stuff, head back up, and then leave, and that'll be our mission for today. And we're also going to be picking up a pretty special visitor, and also completely destroying the base. Yeah, I hit the brakes way too late, and then we kind of like Tokyo drifted right into the base, destroyed like all the radiators, all the everything. Just all in all, not a good day. So that's what quick saves are for, right? Okay, so let's park up on the base. You can see that docking port just to the right of that rover, and that's where we are going to be parking. That rover may look familiar to a few of you. That is a rover that I featured in my rover video, my Mun rover, where it's the same rover. Fancy that. Looks like it's on Duna too. That rover is everywhere. No, it's actually a great rover. Its purpose is to do refueling. The bus that we are in now is just a crew transport bus. This takes people from the landers to the base. And then the fuel truck, basically is what it is, transports the fuel from the base to the lander. And the tanker, which will then deliver fuel up to the base, which will then refuel our SSTO, which will then be able to get us back to Kerbal. And while all that is happening, Val can have a look at her very special guest that she's going to be taking back with us, which is Jeb. Yep, Jeb is here. He's just been hanging out on the base for all this time, and he is just going to be finally ready to get back home to Kerbal. He's been here for years. If you don't know, he's never been in any one of my videos before. This is where he's been this whole time. So Jeb's just been hanging out, and he's going to be getting ready to get back. And we've just crossfaded over to the space station, and we're going to be detaching our tanker. Well, this is what we use to transport fuel from the surface of Duna up to the space station, so it can refuel the SSTO and come back. So we're just going to go ahead and deorbit that thing and bring it down by the station. Now, as we deorbit these things, all of my all my landers on Duna, they're all one stage, and they are all aerospikes, because aerospikes are, in my opinion, by far the best for a Duna. SSTOs, basically, these are technically SSTOs, single-staged orbit, except, Duna orbit, but because they maintain their efficiency throughout the entire atmosphere, they do not lose any efficiency, so they're just as efficient at sea level as they are in space, basically, more or less. So now we're going to go ahead and do a re-entry. Now, the way this tanker works is that center core base, the core tank, that most of that fuel gets drained, and then those radially mounted tanks is actually the fuel that we tanker up to Duna, to the Duna station rather. So that's just kind of a general view as to what it looks like. We don't use all the core fuel tanks. They just have little extra. You never know. You never know. I landed pretty far away from the base, so I'm just gonna try and. I have a little bit of extra delta V, so I'm just gonna fly on over to the base. Just so our rover has a little bit shorter of a drive. And then go ahead and land ourselves onto the ground and transfer all the fuel that we have in that fuel tank out to the rover. This base primarily serves as a refueling base. You can see that middle kind of core with those railings on it. That's our refinery. And then we have the drill farm. It's just, yeah, all those drills and then radiators, and then there's two giant 3.75 meter fuel tanks is what holds the fuel while we wait for it needed to be used. So we were at full fuel, which is why you didn't see the drills running, and they make the thing lag really bad. So that is also why. Now we're going to deliver the fuel out to the tanker, step 1. And then after that, we're going to be delivering the fuel to the lander, and then everything is going to be nice and dandy, and we can get everything back up to orbit. But in the meantime, Jeb is going to be driving this rover out and doing the docking. Now, these dockings look kind of funny when they're sped up. Like, you know, what we do, we kind of just boink the docking port, and then we kind of mess around with spring strength, and then just keep boinking it until it comes together. So just bring it in, and boink. There it goes. Okay, now just transferring all those fuel, and unfortunately this is going to require 2 trips because our rover does not have enough fuel storage to completely refuel our tanker. So we're going to have to go back to the base one more time, pick up a little more fuel, and then we are going to go ahead and fill it all the way up, and then it's going to be time for the lander. So in the meantime, Val has just been hanging out here, enjoying her time on the base. I don't know what there is to do. There's not very many tourist attractions. There's like drills, solar panels. Oh, you guys can probably hear my chair squeak in the background, I bet. Sorry about that. I have an old chair. I need to get a new one. So a definite challenge with this base is when you have the bus parked, parking the rover in its parking spot it's kind of challenging. It's a bit of a tight fit, as you guys can see right here. But I think it looks really cool when you have the two parked together, as you guys probably saw in the thumbnail, which was just that. Let's see, anything else to talk about on the base? I do want to credit everyone's favorite, in my opinion, the best builder in KSP, Matt Lown. I don't think he is the best flyer person or designer of craft. People have, different YouTubers have different goals. Bradley Wiston just says I'm going to make this thing, I don't care what it looks like, I don't care whatever clipping, he does that. People like Matt Lown are okay, I'm going to do this cool thing and I'm going to make it look good. I think so what I basically want to say is, you see how those have railings? Those are just ladders or mobility enhanced, whatever they're called. And they're just rotated, and that was an idea I saw from one of Matt Lown's videos. So thanks, Matt. And on that, I'm talking about the role that certain YouTubers play, how Bradley Wiston just tries to make good craft strats and blitzes, kind of like that too, or strats and yeah. And then Matt Lown is making stuff look cool, and also done some pretty ambitious missions like his SSTO, but that doesn't use part clipping and stuff like that. Generally what I think my role is just consistent daily uploads. I don't think my craft are as aesthetically pleasing as Matt's craft, or as well optimized as Bradley Wiston's, or or as well thought out as Strats and Blitz or his craft or stuff like that. And I think that my videos are just, there are a lot of them. It's your daily supply of Kerbal content. That's kind of where I think, and there's just more boinking. All the boinking. But yeah, that's basically where I figure my role is in the KSP YouTuber sphere, even though I have 80 subs, I'm not really that big yet, but fingers crossed. maybe down the line I have 8 million subscribers and you guys are watching this I'd love that. Now just going ahead and detaching, and then we're going to drive straight out to the lander because we did a little bit of a maneuver down there. Let's see, yep, there we go. So basically we barely used any fuel. We only had not that much fuel to fill up. So we're going to use the rest of our fuel and fill up the lander, because the lander, the crew transport lander, the shuttle is what I call it, does not require very much fuel. So we're just going to go ahead and drive all the way out there. And while we're driving, actually guys, I want you guys to let me know what you guys want to do for the next series of videos. So what we're going to do after this video is we're going to have maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3, like kind of specific mission videos. A little less ambitious in nature, but they should be pretty entertaining. And then after that, I'm going to be launching a new series, and I want you guys to let me know what series you want. I have 3 main options, but feel free to request anything. And I might put a card in the top right so you guys can vote. And I think what we will do is feel free to comment if you have any other ideas. But the main 3 I'm going to be thinking about. We have option 1 is we're going to do a Minimus Colonization. Minimus, it's going to be a lot like this one, but I'm going to just it's going to be very similar to this system, but it'll be a little different. And I'll probably time-lapse and record all the builds, and we'll assemble everything, because this one we don't have any footage of me assembling the actual craft, just me showing off what the final product looks like. So I think maybe if we do a Minimus one, then we could show off that. And just on a quick note before I finish my thought there, I just want to talk about that because I landed on a hill and I didn't really spend too much time on my docking port placement on my lander. They're not at the right height. So I had to come up with a really stupid solution to the problem, which you guys can see right there. I had to fire the engine a little bit to get it in the air and then dock. But either way, so as I was saying, so option 1 is the Minimus Colonization. We'll do a space station, we'll do rovers, all new. We're not going to use any of this stuff, none of these rovers or landers. Space station, lander, rovers, fuel, base, maybe some sort of like exploration rovers, kind of like Opportunity or something like kind of similar to that. That's option 1. Option 2 is going to be a Tylo base. The Tylo base will not be like a full colonization, so we're not going to have space stations and rovers and all that stuff. We're just going to have a base, and that base it's going to be assembled in multiple parts. Obviously, all these are multi-part series, and that base is going to be going into the caves in Tylo. There's a cave Easter egg in Tylo, and we're going to be putting a base right there. That is option number 2. Option number 3 is going to be recreating the Artemis program. So if you don't know what the Artemis program is, it's basically NASA's plan to get people back to the moon by 2024 and establish a permanent moon presence. So what we're going to do in that series is we would make the SLS rocket. We would make the NASA Lunar Gateway space station on orbit. We will make all 3 of the landers. Those are there are a lot of them ruled by different companies, but there's like that one rectangle one, there's that one really tall one, maybe with Blue Origin contributed to, and then there's Starship. Sorry, I don't have them all off the top of my head, but there's a lot of different designers of all these. We'll get all those landers, we will use them, we have a Starship, which will be pretty cool, and then we'll land them all on the Mun. We will establish a small Mun outpost, and basically just establish kind of a colony, but in line of how we are planning on doing it in real life on Earth. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a card up in the top right now, and then you guys can vote if you want to, or you can put it in the chat if this is during the premiere, or in the comment section down below. Now we're just going to go ahead and talk about what's actually going on screen, because there was a lot of driving there. Sorry if you guys don't like driving, but hopefully you had something else to think about while you were driving. But now we're just going to go ahead and boink ourselves back onto the docking port for the last time now. I have Jeb in the lander, and then we're going to take the bus out and deliver Val back to the lander to reunite with Jeb, Bill, and Bob. And then all 4 of the orange suits will be together at last, and then they can all take themselves back to Kerbal together. And she's going to just go ahead and go into that hitchhiker storage module, and we can just crossfade back to me bringing the bus back. I figured you guys didn't want to watch the entire drive because we did a lot of driving in the last few minutes. So just going ahead and bringing that back, and pop. Alright, we are going to start by taking off the tanker, then go up to the station. That's going to be first in line. And we're going to say goodbye to Duna for the final time now. So goodbye Duna base. you will be missed. Until we might go back later in another video. Let me know if you guys want to. Now we're just going to go ahead and match up the orbit with the space station, and we can get ready to begin our return plans to Kerbin. We're going to get the fuel up first, and then we're going to get the people up. Then we're going to make sure everything's all fueled up, get everyone in the SSTO, and then go back home. ET phone, no. Weird space frog phone home. Go home. You have rockets. You don't need a phone home. You can use the lovely rockets you have or planes. Just going in and fine tune the encounter now, and then I will just do another crossfade. A lot of crossfades in this video, just because it's over 6 hours of raw footage recording this video and the series, and between the two parts, the videos are gonna be like 35 minutes in total if you combine part 1 and 2. So there's a lot of crap to cut down, and this video is already longer than I would like them to be. I usually don't want to be over 20 minutes for the Kerbal videos, for Kerbal commentary videos. So basically, this one's I think about 23, 22. So a lot's got to get cut out. Okay, so tanker has docked with the station, and now the lander is taking off and bringing the crew back. Full disclosure, well, I'm not disclosing anything. You guys can see how absolutely horrendous of a takeoff that was. That's what happens when you let Jeb fly. But we have extra Delta V, so I didn't really want to revert it. I'd been recording for so long, and I just wanted to leave because the base was driving me crazy because it was 7 FPS and I could barely do anything. So, lol. Now we're going ahead and doing our encounter with the station, and we're going to be the final time docking up with the station. I figured we're going to go to the top docking port instead of the normal docking area docking module that I have, just to spice things up a little bit, and I didn't want to have to maneuver all there. Just to be honest, that's the real reason. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get the SSTO we're not fully fueled up, we're just going to fuel up its main tank in the back. We don't need to get all the fuel. We have more than enough to get back to Kerbin with, there we go, just filling up the tank with the fuel from our tanker, and then we are going to depart the station for the final time with all the orange suits and the one other Kerbal that I brought with us on our way out to Duna. So she's also going to come back. I forgot her name, and I can't really see in the low-res version that I'm looking at in the timeline. Okay, yep, so there it is. We are now undocked with the space station, and we can wave goodbye and begin our long, not long for you guys, but long for the Kerbals, journey back to Kerbin. And it looks like we do have that whatever random Kerbal flying. I guess Jeb wasn't trusted to fly this time after his performance with the lander. Although he probably just wants to relax. He's been on Duna for so long. He just wants to take a chill pill and take a chill pill. That's not really how that expression's used. Oh well. Basically what we're doing now is just doing our final interplanetary big maneuver node, and we are going to get ready to do our ejection burn out to Kerbin. We can say goodbye to the Duna station. Now, a lot of goodbyes in this video. Very sad. All right, using our 3 nuclear engines now to fire for a long time, but not long for you guys, and I have time warp on too, so that'll bring the time down. You can watch the orbit slowly increase, or decrease actually, or the periaps decrease, and then we can go ahead and get ourselves an encounter with Kerbin. Wait, no encounter. Bruno wasn't quite accurate, so we're gonna have to just manually just give a little bit of burns in the retrograde direction to get ourselves an encounter, and then I can go ahead and we can just skip all the correction burns, and now we can go ahead and come in. We have about 600 meters, 700 meters, we have I think about 500 now left, and we're just going to assist in our aero capture, use the nuclears to assist, because if we came in just normally at this altitude, we would have just not captured. If we would have come in if we would have come in lower, we would just explode. So I'm just going to use the engines to help us slow down as well as the atmosphere. And that can do our capture burn at Kerbin, and like I said, the atmosphere helps out a lot with that as well. Coming in very quick at Dune, you have to be pretty careful not to explode these things, especially space planes, SSTOs, because they sorry, that sounded weird, but they do not have the heat shields that stuff like, you know, a command pod you might put on. At least this one doesn't. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and do this one. We don't need any engines for. We can just point radial out and just go ahead and let it lower our apoaps. And then we can go ahead and go back up to space and do one more pass around. And then we're going to be going ahead and landing. One thing I do want to say about this craft before landing, this thing is a pain to land. It loves to blow up, absolutely loves to blow up. So, you know, I had been recording, like I said in the other part, for about 2 days, and I was just absolutely sick of it. So, and I tried literally for like an hour to land it. So, full disclosure, I did cheat on the landing, but it is completely possible. There is video of me doing it somewhere. I really didn't have the patience to go digging through files to find it. But if you guys really don't believe me, you can just ask, and I will find it for you guys, and I will link it. But this thing can land, but you know, I just was not in the mood after all this stuff that happened this mission. So just going ahead and doing our final crossfade, a lot of crossfades, like I said, and we are going to be landing right near this little like lake, lagoon, little area. I thought this would be a nice place to land, and that's just because I didn't want to have to deal with trying to land at the Space Center. Using most of our Delta V, we had only about 100 left when we entered, and now we have way less because, you know, the nuclears lose a lot of efficiency at sea level. All right, so now coming in, it's kind of hard to judge height because you can't really see your shadow at night, but I think that was an okay landing. Wasn't great. Now we can go ahead and hit the brakes, and then we can slow down, and the Kerbals can finally, after all that time on Duna, make it back to Kerbin. Hopefully they enjoyed their stay. They really didn't have any reason to go there. They just kind of went there and came back. Yeah, it was a tourist. They wanted to have a look at the station. Maybe they were inspecting it. Well, actually, they did have a mission. They were bringing all the orange suits back, so that's why they came, basically. And the orange suits, they came out with the construction of the station. I know it's just one last thing I'm doing. I'm going to just take all the orange suits out, even though most of them don't even have orange suits on in the EVA, but oh well. And they're just going to enjoy one nice, chill... Val has an orange suit for some reason, though. Chill, you know, hanging out at the beach. And now the last one is Jeb, and he can, in full Jeb fashion, just face plant off the front of the thing, and they can enjoy the view, all four of them, together at Kerbin. That's going to be the end of the series, guys, so thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Please rate or comment to this video. Once again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time, and bye.